everyone, welcome back to another episode of A Year with My Gnomies. This is the technically February, but you can add whatever you wanted. I did not add the month to mine. So I showed you just a second ago the example that I am basically trying to go off of, and I am planning to make all of these into a double page layout. I am at this point, this is the first month where I realized this might not be as easy as I had thought. It's not to say that it was necessarily hard. This is where I'm realizing that what they have is different because of where they cut the papers and what's behind what paper. So if you want to follow along with this, I do have the measurements coming up when I start to actually have them on the page the way that they're going to go. You're going to see I'm going to play around quite a bit with everything before making a decision. What I'm doing here though is I'm basically making sure to cut the papers, like know what I'm cutting and what's on the back side so that I can use the different pieces. And that's what I was going to say a moment ago, was make sure that if you want to follow along, you might want to mark everything with a pencil, or just make sure to double check what's on both sides before cutting the papers. You can see that I took this one and I wanted those word stickers. I can't remember now. I don't have it in front of me. I can't remember, if those word stickers were part of the layout that they had, or they're not stickers, but I do really enjoy having those word cut aparts on all the months, because sometimes they just help fill in that little extra area. So a second ago, I will tell you, I did use my border dies from scrapbook.com. I love the border dies. Now this border die does have a heart. I'm going to tell you, it does get put sideways, but you know what? You don't even really tell. Actually, a lot of the border gets covered up that I didn't even realize until I was just now measuring the papers to let you know the sizes. But I just want you to know that it really doesn't matter that the hearts are sideways. Nobody's going to notice. If that bothers you, then use a different border punch. So, and that was just part of the strip. So on the other side of that black kind of pattern paper, you saw was all the cut aparts. And so this was just a strip. So again, that's where I was making sure I didn't cut that to make that background paper. Now I'm playing around where I have everything on the left-hand page, or at least that darker pattern paper. Right now on the left-hand page is really close to the way they had it. And since I'm making a double page, I thought, I'll just kind of expand it and maybe add some papers to the right-hand side. Now, honestly, I don't really think this looks too bad at this point in time. Sorry if you can hear my cat meowing behind me or scratching at the door. I don't think it looked too bad the way it was a second ago, but at the time I wasn't feeling it. Like this right here, really, to me, I think it was that gap that was bothering me. But I'm actually I'm happy with how I had it. There is the measurements, by the way, so go ahead and pause and you can screenshot or write them down. I do have the measurements by left page and right page. It's easier just to put it all up there at once, since I glue things down at different times. But yeah, so that black pattern paper that I had, again, on the opposite side is the cut aparts. So don't just go cutting it if you want to follow along, or you won't have like the extra word. If you don't care about that pink border on the left, then it doesn't matter. And also, if you don't care about the word phrase cut aparts, then I don't think it would matter. But that black part, if you saw, that's on the right-hand page, is kind of cut to fit. So you know how the little trick that us scrapbookers do by making it look like there's more, cutting it in half and then hiding it behind the other papers, is what I did. Same thing with that pink arrow paper that's on the right-hand side. I went ahead and it is cut. And I do have the measurements as far as which one, how big it is on the top and how big it is on the bottom. It is one of the 6x6. Each paper has 4 6x6 on one side. It is one of those. So just in case you were wondering. So here I'm just going to add this border. And now I will say this page doesn't end up very much like they had. I was really going to try to get really close, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm happy with what I did. So, you know, taking inspiration from it is more important. And some of the layouts will be super close to what they had, and some won't. If you want to follow along with exactly what they have, I would either buy 2 pieces of pattern paper. I would either buy 2 of the collection packs, or I would buy or just really, really pay attention and know where you're cutting. And you're going to see I'm going to end up gutting a lot of papers, mostly the solid color backgrounds throughout the year. But just be very aware that it's not as simple as it originally. It was a lot of fun. So I don't want to discourage anybody if you really like the way that these turn out or what they have on their, you know, description thing. Thinking about it now, I don't really know how easy it would be to follow along exactly with what they have. That's something, you know, since I did everything a double page, I think it would be a lot easier if you just did the single pages, and you probably wouldn't need the second pack of the solid background. But I honestly can't say for that since I don't really know. Now, a lot of these layouts, because one side of the pattern paper is 6x6, to make photo mats, I have to really, you know, be aware of where I'm cutting. So I basically make them 3x4, and then the actual white photo mat is slightly smaller, so about 1/8 of an inch smaller than that. I didn't really measure, I just kind of trimmed them down. So be aware of that. If you're just adding your photos straight on here, you wouldn't need the white photo mat. Again, I did all of these in December of last year, so that I could make sure to have them done and ready to go for you guys every month. And I think I've decided that I'm going to just upload them on the 20th of every month. Uploading them, I didn't get to January quick enough, so I just kind of went with whatever I did in January. So here's what I mean. I'm going to do 2 different photo mats with these. I really wanted to bring in this pop of red because I feel like the layout is very pink at this point in time. And so I kind of wanted to bring in this red, but I didn't really, like, it was too red to really make like a full piece on it or whatever, but it was, you know, it just needed that extra little bit of red. So I went ahead again and I cut it to 3x4, 2 3x4 pieces, and I'm going to mat these photos. So what I was saying a second ago, sorry, my brain's kind of all over the place here. If you didn't, oh yeah, and then here I am going to actually punch out a heart. I actually die cut a heart out of the middle of these so that I would have, you know, extra red to go around the page. So there, like I mentioned a second ago, I do gut some things, but you don't even know. And if you don't have to use the white photo mats, is what I've been trying to get around to saying for the last 2 minutes. You do not have to add the white photo mats. I am simply doing that because I don't have pictures. I didn't want to worry about finding pictures at the time. I didn't know if I would add pictures from 22 or not, or if I would just add pictures from whenever. I still haven't decided. At the end of the year, I will do a recap and show you any layouts. Hopefully I will have pictures on them by then. But so I just wanted to tell you guys all of that. Just so you know, when I do add the photos, I will cut them smaller than what they are, than the photo mats, you know. So like the 4x6 photo mat, I'm going to cut the 4x6 photo down a little bit so it will have that white border still. So I don't feel like I'm wasting paper at all. When I add photo mats, I almost always cut the photos down a little bit to fit in the spot so that there's a white border, because you don't have to, and I'm not saying it's wasteful at all. It's just my personal preference that I think it looks really good. I don't print my photos with a white photo mat. I love the way it looks, but a lot of times I don't know what size I'm going to use. I'm kind of learning to print my photos as I make the layouts, and then I could add white borders, but until I get better at that, I usually pre-print a bunch of my photos. I'm one of the ones that pre-prints photos and adds them, stores them, and then as I want to do the layouts, I can pull the photos out. I don't have to worry about printing them then. Kind of switching a little bit from that. If you were one that printed the photos as you went, then you could easily add the white border, but that is why I do not, is because I don't see a sense in printing them, some with a white border, but the ones that I cut down wouldn't have the white border. So that's just a little bit of a tangent there. Just explaining to you guys why. Plus, it makes it easier for layouts like this. I never used to make layouts whatsoever unless I had the pictures. I just wouldn't do it. And then one year I went and I took a couple classes and I just tired, didn't have photos. So I put them together, and honestly, I really rather enjoyed the process, and it was kind of fun. And at that point, I could print the photos. I did print the photos to go on the layout. I still didn't print them with a white border, I don't think, because that was a long time ago before I really started using the photo mats. But yeah, so anyways, that's a whole bunch of jibber jabber. I did add, I will tell you here, I added some of these black peel-offs. Took me a minute to remember what they were even called. And I added a strip to the very right-hand side and the left-hand side, just to kind of bring in a little bit of that black over on the page and to add a little bit of sparkly. And I'm trying to use my peel-offs a little more this year. That's kind of a goal for me. Also, I did take a minute, and I just did it, for me, I just take, if I'm sewing on a layout, and I hand stitch because I don't have a sewing machine, but if I hand stitch on a layout, then I will more than likely not record it. Sometimes I will record making the holes just in case anybody wants to know how I do it, but so I did go around that black pattern paper with white stitching, and I did it by hand. Now, where it meets in the middle, I just went around the entire outside. I did not go up and down in the middle, which you can see in the still shot photo if you don't understand what I mean, but to make it look more like a double page and not a single page. Now here, I struggled with my title. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been playing with my clusters quite a bit, and I really didn't know. I even kind of die cut out a couple pieces from, just some other paper. I don't even remember what paper. I think probably just some of the solid, thinking maybe I could do like my own die cut title, but I didn't like it. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to call it. I finally ended up going with this heart, and I think this might be part of the example that they have, or it might come from there. So I did put that word heart there, and I think it says Heart Day, Happy Heart Day. So I probably will do Valentine's Day photos on this one. But also, just to let you know, and you'll see in this next still shot photo, I did slightly outline part of it with black because it was just so hidden. So there you can kind of see how I did that, and it made it pop a little more, and I do like it a little more. So that is my layout. If you have any questions, let me know down below. And then, of course, at the end, like I said, I'm going to try to do I am going to do, is the calendar that I made to go along with it with my scraps. And there I used the hearts. So that actually worked out quite a bit. If you have any questions, let me know. Let me know what you think of this series. And those are the scraps that I have left over. And I shall talk to you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching.